Hey, friends. It's your old pal, Disembodied Troy. And it's Thursday. It's your weekly program where we talk about all things Adventure Game Engine, brought to you by Green Ronin Publishing. Chat, can you hear me? I see Devious says, sup all. Sup. Can you hear me? Well, I can hear me.
I can hear you too.
And you can hear me too.
But I am on the show, so
right? Yeah, we're hanging out together in this party.
Indeed.
And I'm not hearing it.
I'll type.
Oh, I see him in here. I mean, that's so
they hear us. Okay. We were fussing about nothing. Hooray.
Well, you never know, right? But it is our weekly program. It's our creative collaboration series, and we're hanging out with our good friend, family, really. Oh, look at that. That's not it. Dude,
that's not me.
But that is coming up.
I mean, I am a sage, but...
You are a sage. You are.
I am a sage, but not that kind of sage.
This Saturday, this event is coming. It's Engine number 3.
Yay! It's going to be right.
It's going to be awesome. And we're going to have all the people who contributed to it on the program together. It'll be a lot of fun. And we'll be streaming live at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll have all your favorite developers and some folks you haven't met yet. Should be a lot of fun. But look at you, my friend.
It is me.
It is you.
It is I, the Duke.
The Duke in purple, coming to hang out.
Yes.
Now, David Bullock says you can send me that for my birthday. By that, I think you mean the Duke.
I am. Yeah, you can hire me for your birthday. It's a possibility. It's not cheap, but you can do it.
Do some IT stuff or something, maybe.
Yes, I'll fix your computer for your birthday. How about that?
Oh, that's nice. Finally. So it sounds like, David, your birthday's on Saturday, and you want Engine number 3.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he's saying. Are you actually in purple? Is that an actual purple shirt?
That is an actual purple shirt. Yes, it's purple. It has goblins on it.
Nice. I love that. So, you've been joining me for I want to say six or seven. I think it's our 6th or 7th show.
It's a 7th show.
7th show where we are focusing on a creative collaboration. And basically what we have done is we took a very simple battle map, the concept, and we have blown it out, and it is now a full-blown adventure space. We've got a massive behemoth of a dragon that has impaled itself into the crust of this planet, and the spines form sort of an icy mountainous area, and the mouth is kind of open and agape, and in the mouth is another city that lives within the mouth, the teeth and stuff. We've established some social orders, some secret societies. We've established lots of odd, sort of, or interesting cultural differences between these two city-states. And we've talked a lot about the creatures that live within, kind of this ecosystem, and hinted a little bit to the world outside of the dragon, because it's crash landed for nobody knows what reason. And is it alive? Is it dead? Is it really not a dragon? Is it, there's a lot of questions going on within the populace, within these, and I think we've got outsiders who live somewhere on the planet, perhaps, that aren't necessarily.
Definitely.
Yeah, and
it's
I'm
not just it's just 2 cities on this planetoid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It's weird. No, there are more people, but this area is probably a little bit more remote. And then there is these 2 cities on the dragon, and
and we've talked about how since this is a dragon that has crash landed into this planet, and it is massive enough to build fairly robust cities within its mouth and it's on its back. That the size is just it's bigger than anything we've ever seen, in our human lives. But I would imagine that something that huge crashing in to a planet like that, no matter how large it is going to be catastrophic.
Definitely. You can probably take this dragon as the maybe like either as an apocalypse event that destroyed everything and then people had to rebuild, or it was the genesis of life on this planet, actually.
Wow. Yeah. And that's the other thing about it too, is that it's been hanging out on this, kind of semi-buried on this planet for some time. And there's some mystery and there's some curiousness going on, of course, as you would imagine there to be if the dragon crashed into your planet. So many, I don't know, a millennia ago, who can say for how long, but it's been long enough. One of the things that we've really kind of kept pushing forward into the future was the discussion around the kind of beasts that would inhabit these particularly the 2 biomes, the mouth being sort of a sultry kind of humid, jungly kind of place, and the spines being that icy spires and unforgiving cold and all of that stuff. But today we're gonna get into that.
Definitely.
We're gonna talk a little bit about it. So let's talk about first what is. We talked a bit about what's going on in the mouth. There are some glow in the dark kind of phosphorescent mosses or a lichen or and then
mosses and probably like fungi. It's like some mycelium kind of deal that's in the back of the throat of the dragon, so to say, where they have these farmlands.
Because it's so wet and kind of, it's like the perfect growing, the perfect place for, things to grow. And I'm thinking about the size of this thing, that something that would be maybe small and insignificant to the dragon would be disturbingly large for the people that live within it, right?
Definitely.
I was playing around just kind of thinking about, you kind of see some of the little beasties that are hanging around the Let's Talk About Beasts. And those are actually just like, single cell organism, that I just kind of pulled from a artist rendering. And it made me think about, like, what are the kinds of things that you would expect to bump into. Let's start with your city, and that's the other thing I want to say too, Duke. You are the I'll say the curator of the the city in the mall, the city in the mouth.
Yes,
Fornax, yeah. And then our buddy Reyn, who is Reyn LeBeau, who wasn't able to join us today, but will be back next week, is the curator of the city, the icy city on the back of the dragon, and that one is
Aetheria.
Yeah, exactly. And so so we can talk a little bit about. I feel like, given that your area focuses sort of the mouth, maybe we should talk about sort of, and also the mouth as the gateway to the guts.
Definitely.
So many odd things. And so have we mentioned anything else? Looks like Tempo says someone mentioned giant ticks or fleas living on the dragon, sucking its blood.
Yes, from the outside, I'm pretty sure there will be like scale mites and ticks and but all of these creatures obviously are larger because they are like parasites that came with the dragon, probably. So to a human, they are like a monster. It's like bigger than a bear, probably, at least these big things, and obviously like trying to suck dragon blood through the scales is tedious. So if a squishy human comes by, might eat them.
Yeah, I mean, and these parasites, because we have parasites for all occasions, right? The parasites that will eat or live based on the skin, the kind of eating, the kind of gross to think about, but yeah, I can see fleas and ticks and that kind of stuff. So let's talk about there's probably some dangers of these, fleas and ticks and whatever that are kind of hanging out just outside on the skin, and then with some incursions that occur, I imagine, like let's say if it gets particularly wet and rainy outside, or maybe they've gotten a taste for humans and they kind of think of them as a quick snack, these sort of
definitely.
no scales on these little snacks. What are some other creatures that we can? I also think we need some like cute, not didn't we talk about some kind of a small dragon-like creature, like the little red?
We had the idea. I think someone in chat had the idea originally that these were some sorts of. I think it was Tempo, maybe, that these were some sort of mites, or other parasitic creatures that, through the magical and cosmic nature of the dragon, took on like features of that dragon and then transform more and more into a dragon-like creature themselves. We were not sure if we're going for like a wyvern kind of thing that is more monstrous, or if we were going towards a civilization-y part, so that they are actual people who live there now.
Yeah, we also kind of talked about there being kind of odd moments where these they almost seemed like the labor class or a laboring group of people and a group of creatures. I really like that idea. Let me see here. Dave Bullock says, I would think that sapient giant spiders would find the notion of unending food delightful. Yeah.
Probably.
Hey, Shadowcat. Yeah, I think so. Dragon spiders. Huh. Okay. So I do like the idea that everything has kind of been affected by exposure to the dragon,
Definitely.
And okay, so I'm making a note here as I fiercely open all my notes again. I had to do a restart before the show, and so I lost all my stuff.
Oh no.
Well, you know how it goes. Okay, so do you have kind of in your mind some thoughts about creatures that would be maybe not a nuisance? Maybe we kind of balance it out and talk a little bit about like creatures that are a necessary sort of, like they almost exist just to kind of make the space interesting, like glow in the dark, lichen or moss, or
glow in the dark moss, definitely. I'm pretty sure there are, especially in Fornax, with its moisture and everything, there will be a huge variety of insects.
Yeah.
Maybe not like giant ones, just normal insects.
Yeah.
That are around. Dragonflies and. I'm not sure if there are a lot of mosquitoes, maybe, that people have to be careful about. And obviously you can create like dragonflies that also glow for some reason, make them fantasy-y and give them a bit more spice. And maybe they're bigger than normal dragonflies, but not like dangerously big, but maybe as big as a dog or as a cat, and therefore also a food source for people because they can catch them and maybe roast them or something, or make take their wings and make toys for the children out of them or something.
Oh, right. Oh, that actually is very interesting. So they're big enough that they, I would say that we can kind of make a general rule that hanging around inside out, around and consuming, either consuming things that consume parts of the dragon, that there's some magic, something gets in your blood, and I
Definitely.
could see there being mutations and things that
I had an idea that since we were already thinking about these parasites getting dragon-like features, that over time people also started to get dragon-like features, not as pronounced like a dragonborn or something, but more maybe just that sometimes people are born and they have like slight scales, or some people have like horns, and then this is a bad omen or a good omen depending on which faction you're in or something. That there are these little mutations that are kind of dragon adjacent, like having hotter blood and therefore maybe not spout fire, but because otherwise they would have to be like fire resistant and everything. I'm not sure how that works, but hey, it's magic. So there could be a lot of dragon-y influences into the people, maybe even diseases, like not a mutation, but some sort of new diseases that people can get, maybe a particularly hot fever, and something like that they have to be careful about, that they could contract maybe if they delved too deep into the gullet of the dragon, that they maybe contracted something there, and when they came back they started to get this like scaly skin condition and fever, and act a little weird for a while, but some get better and others don't, and then they turn into some sort of
they get maybe there's some kind of colloquial sort of name for it, we
need to find a name for that. Exactly.
And, let's see.
The change.
The only difference between hair and scales is the shape of the follicle shaping them, so that could be an early symptom of the change. Yeah. Is this dragon mustachioed? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
No. I don't know. I mean, it could be, but I would say if it was, that would be like a very big mustache.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to make some notes here. So we know that we've got some these. I really do want to unpack a little bit, or at least hold space to unpack these red-skinned draconic humanoids. Because what I'm seeing is a smaller race of, it developed, whether it was from parasite or what have you, it developed clearly as part of the ecosystem of the dragon, and maybe, trained, or it's their exposure to humans, sort of something made them become more useful, more connected, or whatever. I don't see them as a playable race, really. But that could also be a discussion for later. And I kind of see them as smaller than humans.
Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe like kobolds in D&D.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. Kobold-like.
Probably behaviorally also not too far off. Also, people love kobolds, so I think that's a good idea to have to bring them in and give them a different name, obviously. But
yeah. I was thinking we had that little gag that we talked about last week, where these little creatures would all kind of stop at some point and sort of look up into the air, and then continue on about their way.
Say something in a language nobody speaks, and it's like, what's going on?
Do they speak a language? Or do the humans consider them, intelligent, or do they consider them just smart enough to do some stuff?
I think to prevent some weird associations, I think they should be intelligent, maybe tribal and culturally different. But to introduce like a species that has like mental challenges compared to a human feels icky to me. Like not that it's impossible, but it feels a bit weird. So I would try to avoid that. But maybe they are culturally different.
what I was thinking was, so I don't really want to present a kind of tribal group as somehow diminished in capacity. I'm thinking more along the lines of a rudimentary, almost like an evolving, a next level simian, or some kind of like that kind of a vibe where they aren't necessarily, inventing nuclear weapons, but they're smart enough to, I think too that I would rather not approach this where they were kind of a subservient group, but maybe there is a purpose that they have a function that isn't quite,
I
clear to humans, and maybe as an entity that was born of the dragon, and sort of
Mhm.
maybe they have a purpose that is sort of
I
dragon.
yeah, I think what would at least like pulling it out of my mind right now. What could work would be that they are usually like a tribal folk that
Yeah.
live inside the dragon, like in the deeper parts, and they are able to get there without much harm coming to them, whereas
Yeah.
people going there probably have some issue. They need protective layers of clothing to protect against the acids and the heats and the weird gases that are going on there, and they are more or less used to it, and they live there in their tribal ways.
Yeah.
And then people came and were like, oh, that's neat. And then like some exchange happened, and some started living up in Fornax, and they also took on the cultural parts and are basically normal people, just looking different, and others are still living in their tribal state down below, and probably there is a mutually beneficial trade going on where people go like, hey, we need you to go inside to fetch us, insert MacGuffin here, and they do that in exchange for some goods that they don't get inside of the dragon. That maybe fresh water is maybe a thing that they don't get there, and they're like, "Ooh, this water is clear! Oh my god!"
I think I'd also like to make sure that maybe they are not necessarily the most communicative, as far as they are kind of just down to business. They have a focus. They have a and they're not unfriendly. Maybe sometimes they are almost indifferent to the humans in there, like antibodies would be, maybe like unless of course they become threatening or something, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking about that kind of stuff. I like that. I kind of, I wouldn't say stoic, but I would say like they are, just a creature that maybe they're very strong, like can withstand a lot of damage, and also magic as well, because that's where they live, and that's where they can kind of, spelunk in the.
Maybe I'm just imagining them as draconic dwarfs. Like a mixture of kobolds and dwarves. Like culturally, maybe.
Okay.
They get this the stoicism and this connection to the earth or their surroundings from what you would usually have from a dwarven society, just without the beards. They have like their scales are in interesting shapes, and they're a little bit more rough, tough, gruff, smaller, tubby dragon
maybe cute,
creatures.
maybe like a little bit of cuteness to their
Yes.
demeanor. Non-threatening in a way, but also very strong, and can do, they can lift heavy stuff, far bigger than, or weighing more than they do. They can withstand.
Yes, they're immune to acid or something. Exactly. They can just bathe in the acid pools down there, and it's just fine for them.
Right. Yeah. I like that. And maybe
they could dive in there and catch, like, the important stuff is inside of the acid pools, and you can fetch from inside, but only they can go there, because everything else that goes in just dissolves immediately.
Oh yeah, interesting. David Bullock mentioned the dark crystal mimics, and then there is of course a lot of discussion about the grape ape. I think that's
the grape ape. Yeah, sure. The mystics in Dark Crystal were really cool. I mean, they were big, as far as I remember. I think they were like big, hunky creatures. But if you shrunk them down, that could probably work
I
and
agree
make
with
them
Mike.
scalier.
Yeah, let me grab Mike's comment here. You don't need to ascribe a personality trait to explain that there's a huge social and communication gap. Yeah, between different species, absolutely.
Definitely, sure.
I think that we're talking about a lot of different things, but ultimately we want to make it so that we can have plushies. We want to. This is all about merchandising.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay.
Little
Great. I like this. And I like that they become, and I think we should establish as well that both in the icy spaces, because they can survive the, sort of the most torturous of environments. I think that a little cold on the outside is not gonna, it's not gonna bother them much. But there's a lot of mining and things that go on up top, and so I think maybe that can be sort of a unified sort of, that's a creature that you would see up in the spires, and that's where, up on the spine, and that you would see them also inside, and so maybe they could also act as sort of guides, and always bringing kind of interesting things that manage to survive the acids, and and we haven't really talked about where the dragon's fire comes from. And they could be, for all we know, they could live right there, but yeah, okay, interesting. I like these guys.
Yeah, I'm already kind of in love with them. They're cute. Also, I think I think at some point we kind of established a sort of breathing hole for the dragon somewhere in the area where Etheria is.
Yeah.
So that could be an incursion point where they came out basically of the dragon to be there in the icy areas where Etheria is, so that we have an explanation of how they or why they went there from the mouth area.
And maybe that's something we don't necessarily know as far as the inner workings or the workings of the organisms that depend on the dragon, that if they act as though they're antibodies, we may not always understand what they're doing, you know what I mean? Like, or what their purposes are. But yeah, I like that a lot. And in them, I'm making notes here. Okay, so we've got these, and I'm going to look to chat. Chat. This is going to be you know, as our arbiters. I want to think of a good name for these creatures.
Yes, please give us a name.
Give us a good
cool name, like something like let's we go like ooh.
Yeah, and it can be a name that is something that they have communicated in some way, or something that we have called them. Like, let's say if we were living there and we saw them, and we quickly became quite fascinated with them, and built sort of connections or relationships in some way. Maybe there's a name. We call them I don't know what, but I'm gonna.
I think I feel more comfortable with their own name. Like that they, even if they don't communicate much, that at least through the ages some sort of communication happens.
Let's have chat. Think about it for a minute, and think about some fun names, and maybe the etymology of the name, and how we came to know it or bestow it. I do like the notion of Shadowcat says speakers, or something that sort of makes it sound, or that it hints to a connection to the dragon, that they were introduced to this space. But I like that, Shadowcat. That was interesting. But yeah, so let's let chat marinate on that, and let's talk about some other flora and fauna. I'm thinking about the functions, what goes on in a mouth. You know what I mean?
Germs. There are a bunch of germs in there.
A bunch of germs. And so I'm wondering if there, there's clearly things that we harvest for good, and and for the benefit of the, I think we also talked a little bit about, that maybe the Fornaxians are people who like to have a little drink, or a little psilocybin with their festivals, and their that kind of a thing. So I'm imagining we're getting a lot of this stuff from inside, and so that maybe there are some flora or some fauna that are maybe a little psychedelic, or kind of different, or almost maybe crystalline, or something different. What are you thinking?
I have an idea. Thinking about like that this is such a big place, and that obviously in a mouth usually you would have some sort of bacteria or small microscopic creatures going on. Only now they're not microscopic anymore. So there very well could be like paramecium-ish creatures. You know, these little. I think you have one below me.
I do, exactly.
This little guy here.
And they're kind of see-through. They're kind of interesting looking.
Exactly. They have a bunch of a bunch of little legs, and they're about cat-sized, and they're kept as pets because they're friendly and kind of cute and sociable or something.
And
float?
So people floating things? Are they things that are kind of jellyfishy, or are they like what do they act?
I think they walk. I'm pretty sure they on their little legs they just walk about like little what the
millipedes?
Yeah, exactly. Like millipedes, but not as icky. They appear more cuddly and more soft and more touchable in a way. They are not like carapace or anything. But
I'm thinking of So I'm going to show you a picture here. Let me share this real quick. And maybe we'll go. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this picture up nice and big. It's interesting. It is very difficult to find a large picture of paramecium because they're so small. But let's see. I'm going to make this that, and I'll do this and that. And actually, let me swap this to this. So
there the paramecium is.
They're the paramecium, and so they've got kind of a crystalline look to them. They've made up of all kinds of weird guts looking stuff. Here, let's do this. Images. I mean, there's some really odd looking. I mean, these are wild.
Yeah, they look amazing.
Now I'm trying to imagine what this would look like if it existed alongside us. And are you seeing it as kind of like a flatworm kind of thing? Like it's a...
I would give it more dimensionality, like not just a flat thing, but more round, like a loaf, basically.
Like a loaf. Okay.
Like a loaf, kind of loafy.
Kind of loafy, so maybe more. Maybe they have this look, but they're more of a kind of, I don't know, a caterpillar kind of looking thing, like a little plump,
like a caterpillar that is made of one cell. So that it's very smooth and crystalline, and you can see through, and different colors. They come like in green, red, and blue, and purple, and whatever, which is like their subspecies. Oh, water bears! Yeah, those are also amazing, and I think they're cute.
You're describing them. This is what I'm seeing suddenly. I mean, maybe because I could totally imagine, someone beat us to plushies, but I could totally imagine this being a thing that's just kind of, and they're kind of cute, and they're I don't know. Yeah, I can kind of see that. This is just a cuddlier gelatinous cube. Kind of sounds like a little bit. Looks like Gleep and Gloop from the Herculoids. Oh, right. That's funny. Webbed feet and go quack cats.
Okay.
I love these guys. So okay. So we've got a kind of a fun, cute, odd, tardigrade sort of little creature. And all right, so I'm actually just going to take a screenshot of this, and then we can
yeah, sure. I mean, tardigrades I like because they actually have these pronounced legs and look like a real creature, whereas the parameciums are basically friendly loaves. And I like the idea of a cuddlier gelatinous cube. It's a gelatinous loaf that is not eating people. It's there it comes by, it cuddles with you, and doesn't dissolve you necessarily. So
right, it's not trying to
that's
empty your juices, right?
Yeah.
That's what. So if everybody can see, do you see the tardigrades? Can everyone see those? I know that they're a little small on the screen, but that made it a little bigger. Let me kind of move it a little bit more. So yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. They call them water bears. They call them, what else do they call them? Other things. But yeah, much beloved, and also, because they're so ugly, they're cute. And they're
adorable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're just kind of like little I'd imagine if you had one with you that it would make a lot of fart noises. Yeah, kind of.
Everywhere they walk, they make like
right.
But I imagine the tardigrade creatures maybe a little bit bigger than the paramecium ones, and they're more like dogs, whereas the parameciums are more like cats. Like and they're more like bigger dogs, and they also like walk around and they want to cuddle, and they're all like all over you, and they slobber on you and everything. Whereas the parameciums, are they okay? They more like cats. Like they come to you when they please. They want to cuddle sometimes, but they also are shy. If you come to them too fast, they flee a little bit. And
do you see them with? Okay, so you see them as basically sort of ground-based millipedes.
Actually, I'm starting to see them as a floating creature, not high floating, but generally floating in person-sized height, like from above the ground to around your head, maybe a little higher. But that's the area where they float about and do without wings. They just float about and go their way, and they're cute. Whereas the tardigrade creatures would be like ground-based, and they're walking around, and they're like. Coming up there with their legs and go on you and go like sniff and make fart noises or whatever.
Right, and then you've got these sort of almost like jellyfish, but maybe a little more, you can see they have some kind of an expression or a face or something that kind of make it. So someone mentioned sow bugs, which in my neighborhood we call pill bugs, but I could see these sort of living on the outside and sort of almost camouflaged, that living on very flat, because they kind of have that sort of shape. See a shadow cat. I do like Shadowcat's idea of calling them the singers or the communers.
Singers and speakers. I like. I also would like if. Which goes a little bit more about the thing we talked about earlier. If they were calling themselves the shepherds.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, sort of the shepherds or the
herders
guides,
or drovers or something like that. The guides, maybe,
I like that. I think it's getting closer to kind of the vibe. These I really like. I mean, they're not my favorite. I don't want to like live with them, but I could see them. I can see these being variations of colors and and purposes, and living in different places. Outside, inside, all of that. They're pretty weird looking. Like, look at this one. Eek.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, that looks like something that is flying around there and stings you, and
this one. Well, I see
you're not having a good time.
As a kind of looks like a hook for catching a fish. Mm-hmm. Are there fish types? Is that a thing that?
Probably. I mean, there are probably like saliva lakes or something like the ponds in there that are just that's water that's just a little bit more viscous and nobody knows why. But I'm pretty sure there are also creatures living in there that are like bubbling about, like stuff you would see in a pond. Just make it bigger, make it fist-sized. That's. You can't see my fist right now. Here, that's a fist.
But horse size.
Horse size might be a bit creepy, but why not?
Well, okay, so let's focus on the hand, yeah, fist size and sort of small to medium, and then let's get in a couple big ones as well. But
Mhm.
so we've got sort of I see the tardigrade creatures being kind of like the size of a smaller dog.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I can see the pill bug kind of creatures being sort of anywhere from like your face, the size of your face, to the half the size of a human. Kind of, and they're stuck against the walls or on the outside, and they're doing all that stuff. Um, and sow bugs, yeah. So is there a kind of what are some other
Yes.
plants? I'm thinking of what these things eat. You know what I mean, as far as like what the environment is like, and clearly maybe the tardigrade glows. Maybe some of these creatures glow because they're eating that lichen or what have you. What are some other
Yes. I
considerations? I'm thinking of the whole kind of the circle of life here, and how each
yeah.
informs the other.
I'm I would say like the pillbox kind of creatures that are everywhere. They are like the German word is Putzerfisch. I don't know what the English one is. Like these little cleaning fish that you
Oh yeah,
can get that are there and they're eating your dry skin off and but leaving the rest alone. And
yeah,
so they're around and they keep like the surfaces of the dragon a little bit clean that would other be overgrowing with a moss or with plants or with some sort of algae maybe that would grow on there.
yeah. I'm not going to show the pictures
And
because some people don't like it, and I'm actually a little distressed by it. But there are like pedicure fish that'll come in.
yeah,
And
that's what I meant exactly. Those. I mean, people shouldn't do that. At least not really, because
well, we're not here to make. Yeah, I mean,
exactly
yeah,
issues, but that was my
they do
immediately
exist.
thing
Yeah.
in my mind. Exactly, they do exist and they're doing things, so that's cool.
So we did talk about ticks and other sort of parasitic creatures. They're kind of gross, and we've got plenty of. I'm thinking of
Gross stuff's always good.
yeah. I'm thinking of borrowing some stuff from our. I'll pull up the book here in a second, but it's our book of creepy creatures.
Yeah. Also, Michael was asking about the flora, like what kind
Yeah,
of
me too.
plants would be there. And looking at the time, I thought it would be might be a good idea to look at a couple plants before the time is out.
Yeah. Let's look at a couple plants, and then we're going to talk about some one big creature that we
Yes,
can tend.
we need a
So
big creature. Yeah.
yeah, so imagining what these creatures might eat, as I was kind of talking about before, we've got
Hmm.
the glow moss and lichen and stuff. We've got, of course, some of the aspects of the organics of the creature. What about something that was indigenous to the planet that
Hmm.
exposed to the dragon is kind of mutated in a way, like something I don't know,
Ooh.
like a bird-like creature or something that you know maybe that it's building its nests with some flora or that it finds. I'm thinking of the whole ecosystem and how it might work together. Um,
Yeah. Let me think. I mean, what I think would be kind of cool because we haven't really thought too much about the roof of the mouth, except for
yeah,
where the teeth are, where the palaces are.
yeah,
But the roof of the mouth is more or less empty because usually nothing is there. But it would be kind of cool if over time, like a plant kind of thing
something
grew
tiny.
into the dragon and that is now hanging down what's the English word? Great having a German on here.
Like vines. You're
um,
talking about vines.
Vines, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like these hanging vines that are just hanging down from the roof, and they're obviously because now it's very bushy there.
yeah,
There's creatures in there, and birds in there, and they use these hanging vines to create their like hanging nests that are everywhere. And because everything is eating eating these glowing mosses, a bunch of these creatures and a bunch of these plants are also starting to faintly glow sometimes because they are smeared in this in this moss, or because they are taking in this bioluminescent material.
I agree,
And their
Michael. Yeah.
poop glows. I don't know.
Oh, I always like it when Stan says ahem. Did we do that in that place? We did that one thing that one time. Logging into Facebook. Yeah, so we're thinking jungle vines kind of thing.
Jungle vines, yes.
And of course, I've got my 2-factor authentication. Okay, I definitely like that as a source of sort of food and shelter. And oh my gosh, sorry, my phone.
What's up? Okay.
Yeah, my phone was just going nuts. But yeah, what are some other
dragon vine?
I think that I do think that they are using these vines for some of the the bridges that we talk about, kind of spanning teeth and such.
Yeah. Oh, I like the idea Michael just had. Like the dragon vine could also be growing over the body of the dragon, always climbing uphill, encasing it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That's maybe originally this was jungle-y area before, and then the dragon crashed in, and obviously everything first was dead, but then the plants kind of came back, and now it's growing in areas. Maybe like less in the icy parts, but the lower parts I could very well see that.
We're talking about a dragon that is so large that it spans multiple biomes. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so an element of the kind of near the mouth, I could definitely see there being sort of this creeping kind of vine that's trying to overgrow, or it's you definitely utilizing the dragon as a lattice of sorts.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure maybe there are creatures that eat these vines, or maybe there is a need to keep these vines in check. Like there are people who tend to these vines to keep it not completely overtaking like the inside of the city. So maybe I can see like you have like a window washer on a skyscraper, like in these little thingies, in these platforms that are on strings where they just go and do the window washing, and we have these hanging about, like tending to the hanging gardens more or less of these vines. Like that's a job that you have there.
Well, and maybe also maybe curing it or treating it in such a way that it can be utilized for building and securing and tying and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like that. Okay, so what are some other I haven't added my history yet. Sorry.
Okay, making it roses is also an interesting idea. Like these vines have interesting flowering, and maybe thorns that might make them dangerous a little bit, which I think it's interesting.
Or they could also harvest the toxin from the thorns for a little harvest time. Get high off it or something.
Oh, yes.
Stan, send that to me one more time. Facebook's doing this weird thing where you don't get your history unless you do some kind of hokey pokey, and I am not in the hokey pokey, in the place for hokey pokeying. But I do like that. Yeah, the dragon vine wine. I like that a lot.
That's cute.
Okay, and so what are some other? I'm trying to think of some other flora that we want to get into. Significant, that's significantly thorns to the side of axe heads. Yeah, sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
I could see some ferns, or at least fern adjacent things going on that are more that obviously not in the city, but on the outskirts of the city where it wilds out a little bit more, and near the fields. I mean, obviously the fields are where they grow some sort of vegetable, some sort of grain, herbs of some kind. We should think about, are these typical veggies and grains and herbs, or are these specialized dragon herbs, whatever kinds they are, or are they imported and just grown there? And how do they grow there?
Yeah, hang on one second. I'm gonna put you on pause here real quick. Let me.
Of course.
Let's see. Is it that coming through?
It's a shepherd thing you wouldn't understand. Why do you guys eat those crystals? It's a shepherd thing you wouldn't understand. I love them. This is great. I love them. This is canon now.
That is canon now. I love it. Yeah, I like the idea of shepherds. It gives them a kind of vibe that's peaceful but important. For sure. Let me see here. And so we were talking about. I am looking in someday. I'm looking through some of these past images that Stan has. Like Gravy Squatch versus Superfluous. Oh my gosh, this is really good stuff.
Yeah, we should do that. We Stan.
He's just a true talent with a great sense of humor. Trees like fir trees up by the spines. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Weird fact. Those are individual sugar crystals. They could be. Yeah.
Ooh.
I like that a lot.
Poor dragon is diabetic.
Right. Yeah. So let's do this real quick. Let's talk about one bigger creature before we, like something that haunts the night, or something that is, or even like a a myth, or it's something that was seen in the past that, I'm thinking of like a cryptid of some kind, like a Mothman-ish kind of.
I have an idea. What if we take like the myth of a leshy? These are big wooden creatures with deer skulls for heads and antlers and all that, and reframe them dragony somehow.
Okay.
Maybe make them actual like dragon deer or something. We could make them a quadruped or biped.
Now, do you think they come from outside and not necessarily are part of the inside?
I think maybe they came from outside, but got inside, and that changed them. Like our shepherds were changed, and now they were deer once, or deer adjacent creatures, and now they start to have like crystal bulbs on them. Their faces are skulls, but kind of iridescent.
I like it. What did you call these? You called them. What's the spell? Then spell the spelling for me, because I'm
a leshy, like this. One leshy, or they are leshen, I think. I think they were first introduced in the Witcher series, but I think they are an actual Eastern European myth. I'm not quite sure what the origin, but yeah.
Leshen. There we go. Okay, yeah. I like this a lot. Let me share that real quick so we can all kind of be partaking of the same zeitgeist. But like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
and now make them give them like a dragony vibe, that instead of bark, it's crystals, and
scales, and
there's scales somewhere, and maybe they have like little embers in their eyes because they have like carbuncle stone in there that fires them up
they still kind of have this almost bony, undead-ish kind of vibe.
A little bit, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be cool because those creatures could like haunt the night. They live now inside of the dragon, but at night they kind of come to the outskirts of town, and maybe they grab your children at night if you don't not careful.
And
You
they're
know,
always telling their kids like be good or something, or this creature will come.
exactly.
Like this. I'm picturing the lizardy versions of the Striders they rode in the Dark Crystal. Yeah. Yeah, the Striders were kind of. I don't know why I'm getting a. Oh yeah, those guys, the spindly legs and the very interesting. You know what I'm thinking as well is maybe they did live inside, but they left and they moved outside
Also
and
cool, yeah.
yeah, yeah, I like that. Leshier, yeah, thank you. A tutelary deity of the forest in pagan Slavic mythology, as Leshier rules the forests and hunting. He may be related to the Slavic god Porwit. Yeah, I like it. This very interesting being that's sort of a mixture of. I definitely am getting that sort of the Striders vibe as well, and having them kind of walk around like, there's this guy that dresses up in a costume that he's got long, he's got a skull head and it's got like long front legs, and he walks around and it looks very otherworldly, but it does have this sort of a vibe to it. And it also reminds me of the Striders, but I like that. I'm going to take some screenshots of this. And here we are. We are
Stan has a hem again, by the
him
way. Maybe
again.
you might want to check your thing.
I love it.
Okay,
I'm getting there. Here it comes. That's so good, Stan.
It's weird, but I like it. Oh,
That's
I
real
want them.
cute.
They're so cute.
It is sort of like, yeah, that could feel them kind of, or maybe they have a kind of like that noise when you hug a balloon, like kind of a little bit,
yeah. They're
little
very
farty, a
rubbery.
little squeaky.
Yeah.
Very, very cute. I love it.
That's adorable. Thank you, Stan. That's so cool.
Stan makes you need to check your thing. He does. Yeah, I love that. That's really great. And that's our little tardigrade water bear that we need to think of a name of. So we've made some progress.
Yeah,
We've got some ideas.
I think the paramecium kind of creatures, they are when they're out and about, they're always in little groups, like little swarms, where they go like, ooh, and they make little little noises or something, like high pitched, thrilling and trilling noises. And
I could imagine like if they're startled, that they kind of go wee, they kind of shoot away real fast, or
moopsie.
Yeah,
they just go away. But I think they're kind of cute when they're like in little groups and go together, like fish, like a fish swarm. Yeah,
almost looking like little gossips. So like they're all getting together and kind of talking about what's going on, or making noises that sound like talking. I love that a lot. Very awesome. Good stuff. Well, okay, so we have made some progress. We've talked a little bit more about the flora and fauna. I think we're making some inroads. Next time that we get together, we're going to have some things that we're going to be able to share. Yeah, exactly. Like the balloon rubbing noises. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And they could even maybe come up to people or humans and sort of hang around their head a little bit and staticky. They could be even like a little staticky, like, balloons are. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got quite a bit of the world mapped out. We've got some ideas of some of the flora and fauna. We, of course, we've got some of the things that we need to develop. I think we need some more sinister, I won't say, well, maybe violent, but at least, very dangerous creatures. We've got one of these in the Leshen kind of bestiary, but we should noodle over the week until next Thursday on hazards, on some real yucky stuff and spooky stuff, and
definitely
yeah, and then you and Reyn and I should convene and just kind of make sure we're doing all this connectedly. Get Reyn up to speed. That's exactly right, Michael in chat. I'm thinking of that rubbing in your hair like cats do, and then maybe you get a little staticky, and they, kind of give you an electric charge. Maybe they are particularly fond of the colder areas too. Like I could see them floating around out there, and sort of being a source of great amusement to the otherwise stoic people of the spires. But yeah, we've got next week. What we'll have is a bit of sort of some handouts people can kind of take a look at, and then I know, like for instance, our friend Michael in chat sent a robust write up that I want to look at, and so I think we'll get some polls going. We're going to also establish some spaces within the grad and within the Atomic Think Tank that have discussions and further dialogue as part of the third stage thing. But yeah, hey, my friend, thank you very much for.
Thank you.
It's always fun to get together and brainstorm. I always come away feeling brainstormy. And chat, thank you for all your ideas and thoughts and things. Stan,
yes, those were great.
Thank you for the art. Love that. Bringing a little character to our tardigrades. That definitely need a new name. But yeah, I think that's it for us. I want to remind everybody that doing office hours tonight, that's in 1 hour from now.
In an hour. Enough time for me to get some food.
Yeah, and then come join me. All you have to do is go to atomicthinktank.com and click on the meeting. You join the Zoom, and we all hang out, and who knows what we talk about. We talk about all kinds of stuff. That's, of course, in the tank. And what else have I got here? Oh, yeah, office hours here, 5 p.m. PDT, 8 p.m. EDT, or it's actually, is it daylight still? And then, of course,
I think, it should be, yeah. You also come to the grad?
Yeah. We've got, speaking of, age-related fun stuff, we did a little partnership with our friends over at the Expanse fan community. We had Ian Lemke talk about some great stuff, and it was basically how to design and develop, and that of course is in preparation for the one-page adventure jam that they host every single year that we've been supporting. We really dig it, all themed around the Expanse, and more of that to come. But I also don't want to forget that we are doing this event this coming Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific.
The Sage.
All about Sage. It's going to be interesting, and you're going to like it.
Yes,
thank
everybody
you,
will.
You'll love it. But we'll have the authors, people who have contributed to this this issue of Engine. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be an absolute blast. Hope to see you there. Look for the event link here very shortly. And I think with that, we're done. Yeah, we'll see you in an hour if you want to come join me for office hours. Last time we had story time with Staniel, which was very
nice.
Interesting. And yeah, that's it, friends. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and then don't forget to come join us for Mutants and Masterminds Monday, which is a blast as well. Thank you, Duke, and everybody else. Ciao.
Thank you, Troy. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. Bye.